picture is about threads. Previously we have seen about process. When we are running more than one program or user application in a system, we say that a program is executed. So your process is nothing but a program in execution. The same way, when we take an example of a Microsoft Word or a Notepad or a PowerPoint, we are observing that we are doing many tasks inside that particular program. Means that a process which is in execution is taking more number of subtasks for execution. So that we say as thread. A thread is nothing but a sequence of execution of code of a particular process. Let us go on understanding how this thread works. Threads. Now let us understand the concept of threads. So as we know, a process is a program in execution. This process may contain number of operations or number of subtasks for completing its particular execution. So example, you can see a process may contain opening a file, updating a document, deleting a file, or it can even save the file. So for each and every operation, it will be using the concept called as a thread. So a process is a program in execution, and thread is nothing but the sequence of execution codes of a process is called as your thread. So let us understand the concept of threads using a simple PowerPoint application. So when we have a PowerPoint application, normally we will be opening the application and you will be creating a chart. You may be uploading an image and you can save the file and you can close the PowerPoint application. So each and every of this sequence of operation is handled by a particular thread. The process may have multiple number of threads to handle its operation. Sometimes the process even may have a single thread for completing its execution if the process is having only one operation to get completed. So threads are called as the smallest execution unit, or it is called as the basic unit of CPU utilization. Normally the thread contains thread ID, program counter where the information of next instruction to be executed will be present, and it has its own register set and a stack. So as I said, you have like single threaded process and multiple threaded process. So in single threaded process, a thread will be having its own registers, stack, code, data and open files, or these resources will be allocated to this single thread. In case of multi-threaded process, you can have the common section of your code, data, heap and open files will be common for all the threads which is running in the process. But each and every thread will having its own registers and stack memory. So within that only it will handle or execute its particular operation. Now let us see about the thread states. This is also called as thread lifecycle. So in the picture you can see more number of thread states is there. So each and every state is used to execute the complete life cycle of the thread. So the thread has to be born, that means the thread has to be created. So this is done using the start system call. Once a thread is created, it is ready for execution. So after making the thread into the ready state, from the ready state it can go to the running state. So from the running state it can either go for the wait state or sleep state or dead state. Sometime it will be going for blocked state. In case of sleeping state, it has to be informed to the system that the thread has been done sleeping. So it is ready for execution. So that time it is intimated to the system using the notify system call or notify all system call. So in case of notify, it will be notified to only the particular process. But in case of notify all, it will be informed to all other processes which is handling the thread. And stop is nothing but the thread is now more in execution, so it is dead. And when it is in block state, after the completion of the IO request, it will be done for the ready state. So in case of ready stage, there is a dispatcher is available. So using this dispatcher system call only, the thread will be moved to the running state. So from the running state, if time expires for a particular thread to complete its operation, it may again go back to the ready state. So from the running state, it may go either to the ready state again, or it may go to any of the states like waiting, sleeping state, dead state and blocked state, and again it may be moved back to the ready state. Only in the case of stop state, it will not be executed again. Benefits of multi-threaded programming. So the first benefit is about responsiveness. So whenever a process is executed, how the system is responding. So in case of multi-threaded programming, if we have various threads for the processes, how the threads are getting responded for the user. So this is what called as responsiveness. Resource sharing. So in multi-threaded programming, the resources are shared among the threads by a particular process. So resource sharing is easier in case of multi-threaded programming, and economy in case of multi-threaded programming, the number of threads which is created is taking less costly compared to a process creation. So it is easier to create threads compared to a process. And in case of scalability, how much the speed can be increased parallelly in multi-threaded programming is called as scalability. Let us see one by one. Responsiveness. In multi-threaded application, it is an interactive system, so that if one part of the program is blocked, the others keep running. In single-threaded application, the unresponsiveness to the user will happen. This is because that only when the process is getting completed or a single thread of execution is getting completed, the user can respond to the other one. And resource sharing. So the threads by default share common memory and resources of its related process. Also, it allows several threads of activity within the same address space. So the resources are shared in common. When it comes to economy, allocating memory and resource for process creation is costly, and it is easy to create threads and contexts with threads. And creating and managing process is time consuming than a thread. So economically, thread creation is easier compared to a process creation. Finally, it is scalability. So the benefits of multi-threading can be even greater in a multiprocessor architecture, because in multiprocessor, more number of processes are executing, so that each process may execute more number of threads, so that all these things are happening in parallel manner. So the benefits is higher in a multiprocessor architecture for multi-threading. Here the threads may be running in parallel on different processor cores, and in single-threaded process can run on only one processor regardless how many they are available. So that is the problem related to scalability in case of a single-threaded. But in case of multi-threaded, it is more advantageous. Types of threads. There are two types of threads. One is user threads and other one is kernel threads. In case of user threads, the user manages the thread and the kernel does not know any information about the user thread. And in case of kernel thread, threads directly supported by the kernel, and it is a lightweight process also. Let us see the observation of the user level thread. Here the user level thread is having two space. One is called as your user space and another one is your kernel space. In user space, the process and its threads are available along with the thread table. So this thread table will be updated in runtime, and the kernel will be having the process table. How many number of threads are running by each process is maintained by the process thread table, and the overall process table is maintained by the kernel in case of the user level thread. The user level thread is fast, efficient and lightweight. Switching between the threads is fast and it can be easily implemented than the kernel thread, and the context switch time is shorter in case of your user thread, because the threads are available within the process. So whatever happens, that is maintained only by the particular process. So context switch is easier. The OS will not be aware about how many threads are running in a process in case of a user level thread. Scheduling can be an issue in user level thread. If one thread invokes a system call and all other threads needs to wait, because the system call will be disturbing the other threads for not executing. So one thread after completing its execution only the other threads can execute if it invoke a system call. In kernel level thread, the observation we can see here is that the process table and the thread table both are maintained only by the kernel, not by the user. And the scheduling for the process which is having more number of threads is takes more time compared to the process which is having the less number of threads. And the blocking a thread due to a system call is not required, because the kernel will take care. And in kernel level thread, the kernel level thread is slow compared to the user level thread, and the overheads will be more in kernel level thread, because it has to maintain or it has to schedule both the process and the threads together by the kernel. Also the context switching time is longer in kernel level thread, because each and every time it has to save the state of the thread and it has to revoke when the thread invokes the situation back. Multi-threading models. There are three multi-threading models: many-to-one model, one-to-one model and many-to-many model. In case of many-to-one model, there are more number of user level threads, and each of these threads are together mapped with one kernel level thread. So the thread is entirely managed by the thread library available in the user thread. And in one-to-one model, each user thread is connected or mapped with one kernel thread. And when this case occurs, the system has to limit the number of threads created by the user. So there is a limitation in one-to-one model. In many-to-many model, the more number of user threads will be there, and these threads are mapped with equal number of kernel threads or smaller number of kernel threads. And this combines the advantage of both the one-to-one model and many-to-one model. In many-to-many model, blocking the kernel system call will not affect the user level thread, because each processes may be handled by multiple processors. So the subtasks are divided among the processors. So the effect of the blocking occurring in the kernel will not affect the user level thread. So that is the advantage of many-to-many model. That's all about the lecture. Thank you.